there always has been that one character. That character that you feel such a special connection to. You consider them to be literally you. We all have a favorite character. These characters might be particular to a series or a game, or might just be an all-time favorite character across all media platforms. The point is, you like them, and they are yours to interpret. Now, what can you do with a favorite character? Draw art of them, talk about them, make them your profile picture, LARP as them, draw art of them. I mean, seriously, what the fuck is this? Anyway, I have a plethora of different favorite characters for different types of media. My favorite question to ask people when they play a game or watch a show is, who is your favorite so far? Not too sure why I like to do this, other than, you know, I like hearing an answer, but I think it may be because it can represent a person in some way. It's like the same way, if I ask you your favorite food, and you say, oh, I like ghost peppers, then I'll naturally assume like similar spicy foods. Or if I ask you the same question, and you say something that comes from the human body, or is the human body, I'll assume you're a degenerate Redditor. In the end, there will always be two sides to one coin. We've seen the heads, but now what about the tails? What about the degeneracy? What about the hate? And worst of all, what about the misinterpretations? No, Shinji, you're not twig. For this video, I will center in on one game, but very successful last video, and I also love the game, maybe a little bit too much, but that being Limbus Company. And within Limbus Company, my favorite character would have to be the 11th sinner, Sinclair, followed by Masol, and then everything's better in triplets. I didn't think it's far ahead, but I damn well know it's not Ishmael. I do not like Ishmael. You can argue with me in the comments if you want, but I do not like Ishmael. Aside from that, this segues perfectly into how people can perceive your favorites and the discourse that follows it. Me personally, I find that Sinclair is my favorite character in the game. I like him for the reasons that I'm a big fan of coming of age stories, alongside, you know, stories that show intense character development, especially when it changes the character from being shy and cowardly to confident and proud. A bit like in Evangelion, Shinji's story. I love that. I like all these things, but let's say this guy over here, he instead thinks that Sinclair is nothing but a sissy femboy twink. Why? Because it's funny. On a serious note, there could be serious disdain for Sinclair because of his mannerisms and his slow growth into a more confident character. It's not too evident that he's growing more confident. It's hard to display his growth other than physical power. But I'm extremely biased with Sinclair, so I'm explaining this poorly. Let me swap up the character, and let's talk about Marcel. Marcel is my second favorite character in Limbus Company. There are multiple reasons why I love his character. That's mainly because I have read the source material, that being The Stranger by Camus. I think the game has portrayed him extremely well up to this point. Yeah, I can see why people do not like Marcel, or don't understand others' opinions of him. He has a total of 327 lines counted, from the last intervalando, which is Nocturnal Sweeping and Prior. This is 21% of the lines that has been said by the sinner with the highest amount of lines in the game. That being Ishmael, of course. And for what, by the way? What character development does she actually fucking... These lack of lines that he has makes it hard for people to comprehend where he fits in a dynamic, alongside his use to the group. And it leads people to think that he does nothing, and he's boring and nonchalant. But there is a very small community of players that absolutely adore, and I mean adore, Marcel. I think they need to be checked mentally, because this shit can't be normal. I mean, let's have a browse through their accounts. It's utterly unhinged. Now, how do fans deal with these discrepancies between opinions? Usually a debate, which ends up turning into an argument. Why do these arguments happen? Mischaracterization. Mischaracterization is the absolute bane of characters. For example, from another game, Kahara from Fear and Hunger. He is a mercenary who enters the dungeons in order to get money for him and his wife, so they are able to live safely. He does this through retrieving a Lagarde, who is imprisoned in the deeper layers of the dungeon, and he tries to take him back. Yet, to the community, he is seen as a little twink femboy who gets all the girls and loves yoinky spelunkying. You can tell these two characteristics are direct opposites, and even though this might be a joke or just something funny for the community, it ruins the perception of the deep themes of Kahara's character. This causes new players to be less engaged with the story in game overall. This mischaracterizations commonly turn into a short-worded description of the characters that will be used as a staple for the character. Going back to Limbus Company, for example, the silly Don Quixote bit. Now, I can agree, that's how she is seen in the earlier chapters of the games. She doesn't have much story, she's not serious at all. She is someone who strives for justice. But after Canto 7, Don's dedicated chapter of the game, I feel like it's unjust for her to keep this a moniker, and I feel as if it does her character dirty. I am always for community jokes. I love community jokes. I just don't like mischaracterization, because, you know, it does get to a point where the community joke takes over the character itself. No, let's have a bit of a change of pace here. I think it's most important for all of us to be truthful to ourselves. and how we feel about a character, and really remind ourselves why we love these characters. What made us fall in love with them and idealize them so dearly? What do we see in them? What do we see that we see in ourselves? What do we see in them that we hope to see in ourselves? And I can't say I'm exempt from, you know, hating another character or, you know, teasing someone a little bit for liking another character. I feel as a community we should be more attentive to others' opinions and not take what you heard on the internet as gospel. Sometimes, especially in the Project Moon fandom, we need to be a bit more tolerant about opinions. I feel as if all the gatekeeping and prejudice we pay against each other for simply liking different things is harmful and self-destructive. So if you take anything away from this video, be kinder, be more tolerant. You know, comment the reason someone is your favorite sinner or your favorite character and why they might be your least favorite. I'd love to hear your opinions.